I was driving my Ford car when my guides told me,
You'll be driving a BMW next week.
whatever, I felt it was true. I'm a spiritual person and I had the terrifying experience of buying like a luxurious car. So that was a crazy ride. I was like, what the shit is happening here? Because, I get more often things from a guide, but it's not always super clear like, oh, this is gonna happen, this is true. Maybe sometimes it's my ego. I try to do the work in there, but this time around it was super clear and I got it twice. I got it 2 weeks before that as well. Like, I was so happy driving my Ford car, and I think I was actually thinking like, oh man, I love this car. And at that moment, my guide said, "Oh, you'll soon be driving a BMW." I'm quite crazy like that. I immediately have to know what is happening and stuff, which is often kind of blocking the experience, to be honest. But yeah, everything made sense. I cannot explain. It was even like I just put on a song, and everything was about taking that next step. And my guides showed me that I was driving this Ford car. I had enough money in my bank account, and I was kind of almost like kind of unaccountable in life. And I felt it was true. I also understood it, but if I have to explain it to you now, I couldn't. However, when I bought the car, it all perfectly makes sense. I don't even know why, but naturally, I already started researching like BMWs to buy, and you can say like, oh, but now you're just, even if it was a thought, you're just following your thought, and I don't give a shit. I know it was true, and also the experience really made sense. So I arrive at the dealer to potentially buy a BMW, and already when I was driving to there, I really felt in my bones like, you know, you'll be driving home with another car. And I was like, oh, you gotta be shitting me. Like, it's almost like I didn't want to do this experience. Like, most people go buy a BMW and are freaking happy, right? They're like, yeah, I don't know. And I was just driving there like, ah, shit, I gotta, I gotta do something I want, which is crazy. And, it's kind of, yeah, this is kind of who I am. That was also the experience when I was driving that BMW, because I saw the thing. I was like, oh boy, that's, yeah, that is a pretty car, right? Because I don't really care for a lot of cars, but I really like BMWs. So, and I was driving it. It was super luxurious, and the second I was driving it, I was like, what am I doing here? It does not matter for me. A Ford car, I love the thing. It's kind of cute, and it's a funny shape. I don't know, and that's more my thing. It's completely analog. Everything is like kind of inconvenient, but kind of, I really love analog things, and this thing is completely a technological miracle. And it's so super smooth, and it does not matter to me. It's both a device that's gonna get you from point A to point B, and I couldn't give a shit less about that. So that's also why I'm happy with the Ford car. So I love that. It's completely my thing, and that my energy, my vibe in it. I love going from A to B with that thing, and I still bought the BMW. I don't know even what happened, but I gave the guy a shitty deal. He was a good negotiator. Uh, I guess I have to admit. In the end, he said I was a good negotiator. It doesn't matter, but I could get a lucrative deal for me that was okay for me. Also, a lot of things made sense because it will cost me less to drive this car. All the mind problems, troubles you can have, they were kind of taken care of. It was a lot of senses. It was a good move, and the first thing that came over me when I bought that thing was, ah man, what if I gotta show my friends this thing? Like, and that's where the process begun. That's what the guides were aiming for with me, because it is luxury. It is like it's being on Earth. It is, it's also feeling better than other people. Fuck yeah, I'm driving that thing, And I'm starting to feel better than other people, and I gotta keep it in check. So I'm not pushing that away. I'm really letting the process happen. But for the first week when I bought that thing, I was like not even happy to drive it. I felt so awkward in it. It's also technological, and I don't connect to it, and it's like why am I doing this? But the whole process started, and it because it's I can't explain. It is just a luxury thing, and it is earthly, and that's kind of what my guys try to show me. Like, you are not accountable, you know. If you want to live your life, you need to embrace the wholeness of it, basically, right? And if I, as a spiritual guy in my spiritual bubble, push luxury away, which I didn't even know I was doing, right? Then there, it doesn't make sense. Then you understand? That's also the crazy part, because I was driving this BMW. This start speaking German. What the fuck? This BMW. But and it was, oh man, I cannot explain. It's not like I just feel a little luxurious. It felt like a complete, because this is how extreme my sensitivity is. Keep trying to explain to you all. Like, it's like a whole layer on the earth of like. This is also what we call like a root chakra thing. It doesn't really matter, but it's like it's a whole layer of being that it's so much. I'm gonna try to explain it, but it's really earthly. So you know, the earth is materialistic, and I think as a baby I already kind of denied this, because I felt now why. I was driving that, and I was like, I felt like emotions like greed coming up, like, and also unhappiness, you know, because it is a way, like having nice things is a way of being happy when you're not actually happy. And then I felt the unfulfillment of owning something that is luxurious. It's trying to get happiness from something, and that happiness will never be real, you know? And I felt like the happiness I had with the 4K was real, and this is just, and also it's just a status symbol, you know? And everything around that, it is a flashy thing, my God, you know? It's a BMW, sorry, 3 Series 316. Maybe I'll put a picture here, maybe I won't, I'm not sure yet, but I felt that greed coming over me, the feeling of feeling better than other people, oh man, all those layers were immediately coming after me just from driving a BMW. And I started to understand why I needed to do this, because it puts me more on earth, and I kind of keep denying the deepest layers of earth. That sounds a little bit weird, but I'm more with both feet on the ground and it makes sense, you know, if you accept the wholeness of it. And I think most people are really already living in that their whole life. And they usually try, you know, people try to go more up, and I'm really an upper, and I need to get more down to earth. That's my thing. I need to get more with both feet on the ground. And it's kind of weird buying a BMW and only having those emotions come straight head on to you. And that is what happened to me. And now I'm kind of starting to like the car, and it's kind of becoming my own, and still I cannot enjoy it as well still as the Ford Ka. It's also, I cannot explain it, but I'm really attached to my music, maybe because I was a musician, but in the Ford Ka, it was so analog, and I couldn't always make out every single detail, because, you know, it's not soundproof or whatever. So you just hear you're driving it's loud as hell, and the highway is just, you know, making noise. This thing is silent as hell, and the sound is so clear, it's almost like cinematic, and I just don't like it. Yeah, I just don't like it. I like my Ford Ka and that music. And even though my Ford Ka had like a big bump in it, because I had problem driving away, I'm an idiot. Also, this car really invites you to drive fast. And there was some guy, I'm not sure where, who said like, it's not fun to drive a BMW because it only gets fun at 200 miles an hour or kilometers, not sure what they use. And I actually feel that's true because these things, they're German, they are so efficient. Everything works so smoothly, perfectly. I barely hear the engine, you know. And with my Ford, it was really like you know, shifting, because I had to really work hard to just get to 80 miles an hour, and that work, I kind of love that. And this is just, you know, fully fucking doing its thing, what it's supposed to do, you know. And yeah, I don't like that. And then when I embraced like, because obviously I'm gonna test a little bit, you know. Maybe I'm gonna drive a little hard. I didn't like it that much, but it also felt like embracing life. I don't know. So I'm driving hard, and at some point, that whole energy of like, because generally people who drive BMWs are not the most social drivers. Let's just put it like that. I have found my blinker, by the way. I'm using it. And I started embracing the driving fast. You know, I'm gonna test it out a little bit, and something with that huge energy that came over me, with all the things that came at me, I immediately damaged my car. And that was, I knew that lesson was kind of coming, because now I invested money in something, now I can lose it. You know, with the Ford Ka, I couldn't really lose. It wasn't really accountable. I love that car, but it's like, okay, well, it's old anyway, and now I have some status symbol. Something can actually happen to it, and it immediately did. I drove into something, got like scratches all over my car, and the mirror broke. Luckily, it's fixed now, but it was also, that really sucked, you know. And you know, I was accountable for that. So that's also another thing that I felt like as soon as I drove the car. Is like, I do not want to be like any other BMW drivers. Like, honestly, I 2 times almost had an accident. Both of the times, I'm saying, yeah, a BMW passed me on the right side, and that scared me, or you know, I how do you say that? I shocked from it or whatever. Then I almost met an accident, you know, because I wasn't watching the traffic around me closely anymore. One time, even a guy just followed that BMW, went next to him, and be like, "Hey, you know, cannot do, you cannot drive like that." So I am using my blinker. I'm being the most social driver. I'm letting everybody pass on the streets, and yeah, just to I don't know, to make up for that, I guess. So, you know, I'm using the hell out of my blinker. I'm doing that everything correctly, but yeah. So right now I'm driving it, and I'm starting to kind of enjoy it, but it still doesn't really feel like me, even though this is the car I wanted to have. It's also kind of what my guides said, like before this whole process, like, buy the car you want, right? Buy something you really want. And that's also the thing. That's when you become accountable, when you can actually lose something. My guys also told me, like, buy the car you want, right? That's also when you become accountable, when you can actually lose something. Life just isn't normal for me, right? Usually people will just buy a BMW, are happy. I go through an entire process. Man, I've been nauseous and super tired after buying that BMW, and just really going through things, right? And it's not just, I find it hard to explain. I experience so thoroughly. So these things are really big experiences for me, and they keep me busy all day. There's always something going on in my life, which I'm trying to make videos about now. And yeah, again, I'm just, you know, spiritual guy buying a BMW, and this is how it goes, you know. Like, man, sometimes I just cannot do one thing normally, and you know, I love my life. I love who I am. I love that I can feel things so thoroughly. But yeah, there's always something. So I'm trying to make videos on that. If you want to keep track of my progress, just hit that subscribe button. It's there, I think. I'm usually kind of confused. I think it's there. Please, please push it. I'll be making videos on a regular basis. I'm not really sure if it's going to be weekly or daily, but I'll keep on recording me and what I do, how I experience. So yeah, love you all. Have a nice day, and Yeah, nothing more to add to that basically. So have a good day.